Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
As a creator on YouTube, I sometimes feel personally responsible for getting the word out on certain things. In my case, it's usually in an effort to preserve the sanctity of film. Cinema, after all, is why I'm doing this in the first place. Movies have obviously had a huge impact on my life, and I want to do everything in my power to return the art form to its former glory. Now, right now, the industry faces a multitude of issues.
That's right, it stinks!
But I truly believe that one of the biggest setbacks when it comes to creativity in film came from the creation and implementation of streaming services and the domination of those services in the new market. Some would argue that streaming services have increased the amount of content that's available to all of us, so everyone wins. I would retort and say I'm more concerned with quality over quantity.
That makes sense.
I can count on my own two hands how many of Netflix original properties I would actually consider watching again. And we all know how much content that Netflix puts out because they basically greenlight everything. It's all in an effort to justify their price point, and that's just not appealing to me. But it's one thing for streaming services to put out mostly shitty original content. It's another thing completely to take already established classics and alter them as you see fit.
You about to cross some fucking lines.
Guys!
Actually, let me rephrase, because it doesn't even need to be a classic film necessarily. If you alter anyone's work and present it in a way that is different than the creator's original vision, then that is a problem. This is a conversation about film preservation, and it's something that I feel is very important and needs to be addressed. I remember when adding disclaimers before classics like Gone with the Wind felt like the worst we would get. But it didn't stop there. I've made numerous videos about how Disney has altered their own beloved animated classics, all in an effort to make them more socially acceptable by 2021 standards. People really need to stop judging movies from the past based on a 2021 agenda. Another instance where this happened, and I don't know how many of you remember this because it was basically kind of just swept under the rug in 2020, but did you know that Netflix originally altered Back to the Future Part 2 when it was released on their platform? Now, first off, it's Back to the Future. You don't fuck with perfection. But to take a small but pivotal moment in that movie out of it for unknown reasons should have raised some red flags with people.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
The only reason that they eventually restored the original version is that people actually caught them in the act. Everyone noticed because that movie is so beloved by a lot of people. They love and care about it more than the streaming services do, that's for sure. It was the scene where Marty realizes he doesn't have the sports almanac and he accidentally stole a girly magazine from Biff instead. To be clear, the scene showed no nudity whatsoever.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la.
But for some reason, Marty looking at the scantily clad woman on the cover and saying ooh la la was just too offensive. And this is coming from the company that gave us a film called Cuties. And if you don't know what that is, please go look it up because I refuse to talk about it. Or any of the other original content that they brought out that could be deemed risque by some people. And you can't tell me that this was a mistake. Someone had to actually go in and edit out that little moment in this movie. And I'm 100% certain that it was done without Robert Zemeckis' permission. That's a problem to me.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Disney added longer CGI hair to Daryl Hannah's head to cover up her ass in Splash. If you don't think that Daryl Hannah's ass is appropriate for Disney Plus, then maybe that movie shouldn't be a part of your catalog. Maybe you don't have the right audience for that, and maybe you shouldn't go around buying up all these properties that you can't properly use.
Cause she got a great ass.
If a director wants to go back and reconfigure and recut his own movie, I say go for it. They have that right to do it because they created it. But a streaming service has no right to 1, decide what's appropriate for me to watch, and 2, alter a work of art that they did not create. And then came news this week that it happened once again, this time on HBO Max. Now to be clear, I wouldn't call Birds of Prey a cinematic masterpiece, and if you value my opinion at all as a critic, I wouldn't recommend actually going out and watching this movie.
That is one big pile of shit.
But that doesn't matter. It's still someone's creation. It still deserves to be preserved in the original form that it was intended to be viewed. So a few people noticed that the film had been edited down from a rated R version to a PG-13 version, with absolutely no mention of the change. It was presented as if this was the movie that we all saw in theaters. The changes included editing out some visual gags and as well as some curse words.
Fuck you!
A spokesperson for HBO Max claims the TV broadcast version of the film was added to HBO Max by accident, instead of the theatrical version like intended. And they went on to say that the theatrical version would be reinstated. Now, in a normal world, I could believe that this was just an oversight. But we don't live in a normal world, do we?
Just a sick world we live in.
We live in a world where a precedence already exists that has shown us that things like this are being done on purpose all the time. So you at least have to question as a viewer what's going on here. Also, let's say it was a mistake for the sake of argument. It's still not okay that film history is being censored because you have possibly incompetent people working for you, or because your system is broken in some way, whatever the case may be. This issue exists because streaming services exist. I used to advocate for physical media very strongly on this channel, and I think I need to get back to doing that.
It's good to be the king.
Because it's important, in my eyes, that people view these films in their original form, as the creator intended. What's to stop them from completely reworking films until they are unrecognizable? Do the heads of these streaming services know better than the original creators? Sometimes they act like they do. Whether it's a mistake or on purpose, they are fucking with film history. And that simply cannot be allowed to happen. Censorship isn't good for anyone. It's not good for creators, and it's not good for the audience. You aren't getting the best product you can get if there are people behind the scenes meddling with that product. It's bad for the art form, and it's bad for creativity.
Damn right, that's the only way I work, Cap.
They will try to sweep this under the rug as a mistake, but I'm not going to allow that to happen. Film has made too big of an impression on me for me to let anyone get away with something like this. So let me know what you thought about all this in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.